Have you ever faced opposition so fierce it threatened not just your work, but your very life? Today, we dive into a lesser-known but crucial episode in the life of the Apostle Paul, involving a man named Alexander the Coppersmith. This story teaches us valuable lessons about handling dangerous opposition and staying true to our faith. Our tale unfolds in the bustling city of Ephesus, a major center of commerce and religion in the Roman Empire. It's here that Paul, one of the most influential figures in early Christianity, finds himself in the crosshairs of a formidable opponent. Picture the scene: narrow streets filled with the sounds of hammering metal, the smell of burning coal, and the chatter of merchants. Among these craftsmen is Alexander, a coppersmith whose livelihood depends on creating idols and religious artifacts for the pagan temples. Paul's arrival in Ephesus threatens the very foundation of Alexander's business. The apostles' powerful preaching about Jesus Christ and the one true God directly challenges the worship of pagan deities. As more and more Ephesians turn to Christianity, the demand for idols plummets. Alexander, feeling his way of life slipping away, becomes a vocal and dangerous opponent of Paul and his message. But who exactly was this man, and what made him so threatening? While the Bible doesn't provide extensive details about Alexander, we can piece together his significance from the few mentions he receives. In his second letter to Timothy, Paul writes, "Alexander the Coppersmith did me great harm. The Lord will repay him according to his deeds." 2 Timothy 4:14. This brief yet potent statement reveals the depth of Alexander's opposition. The Greek word used for harm implies not just disagreement, but active and malicious attempts to undermine Paul's ministry. Some scholars suggest Alexander may have even testified against Paul during one of his trials, potentially contributing to the apostles' imprisonment. But Paul's response to this dangerous adversary is what truly sets this story apart. Instead of seeking revenge or backing down from his mission, Paul demonstrates remarkable resilience and faith. He doesn't engage in personal attacks or attempt to destroy Alexander's reputation. Instead, he entrusts justice to God, saying, "The Lord will repay him according to his deeds." This approach aligns perfectly with Jesus' teachings about loving one's enemies and not repaying evil with evil. Paul's reaction serves as a powerful example for Christians facing persecution or opposition, showing that the true victory lies not in silencing our adversaries, but in remaining faithful to our calling. The conflict between Paul and Alexander the Coppersmith wasn't just a personal disagreement. It represented a clash between two worldviews: the gospel of Jesus Christ and the entrenched pagan practices of the time. Alexander likely saw Paul not just as a threat to his business, but as someone undermining the very fabric of Ephesian society and its long-standing religious traditions. Despite the danger posed by Alexander and others like him, Paul continued his ministry in Ephesus for over 2 years. His dedication bore fruit, with the book of Acts reporting, "All the residents of Asia heard the word of the Lord, both Jews and Greeks." Acts 19:10. This success, however, came at a great personal cost. Paul faced numerous hardships, including imprisonment and physical danger. In his letter to the Corinthians, he writes, "We do not want you to be unaware, brothers, of the affliction we experienced in Asia, for we were so utterly burdened beyond our strength that we despaired of life itself." 2 Corinthians 1:8. Yet, through it all, Paul maintained his faith and his mission. He understood that opposition, even dangerous opposition, was part of the cost of spreading the gospel. His resilience in the face of adversity serves as an inspiration to Christians throughout history who have faced persecution for their faith. The story of Paul and Alexander the Coppersmith resonates strongly in our modern world. Today, many believers face opposition, discrimination, and even violence because of their faith. Like Paul, they must navigate the delicate balance between standing firm in their beliefs and responding to hostility with love and wisdom. Paul's approach offers valuable lessons for handling opposition. First, he remained focused on his mission. Despite the threats and challenges, Paul didn't allow Alexander or any other opponent to distract him from spreading the gospel. Second, he didn't engage in personal vendettas. Paul's statement about Alexander in his letter to Timothy isn't a call for revenge, but a recognition that ultimate justice belongs to God. Third, Paul used his trials as an opportunity to demonstrate the power of faith. His resilience in the face of opposition became a powerful testimony to the strength found in Christ. Fourth, he maintained an eternal perspective. Paul understood that the temporary hardships he faced paled in comparison to the eternal impact of his ministry. Lastly, Paul relied on the support of his Christian community. Throughout his letters, we see him encouraging and being encouraged by fellow believers, highlighting the importance of Christian fellowship in times of trial. The conflict with Alexander the Coppersmith is just one chapter in Paul's remarkable life, but it encapsulates many of the challenges faced by the early church. It reminds us that the spread of Christianity wasn't a smooth or easy process, but one marked by significant opposition and personal sacrifice. As we reflect on this story, we're challenged to consider our own response to opposition. How do we react when our beliefs are challenged or when we face hostility because of our faith? Do we respond with anger and retaliation, or with the kind of grace and resilience demonstrated by Paul? The example of Paul and his handling of dangerous opposition serves as a timeless guide for believers. It teaches us that true strength isn't found in silencing our critics or defeating our enemies, but in remaining faithful to our calling and trusting in God's ultimate justice. In a world where religious persecution continues to be a reality for many, Paul's steadfastness in the face of opposition from Alexander the Coppersmith stands as a beacon of hope and a model of faith in action. It reminds us that while we may face trials and dangers, we're called to press on, trusting that our labor in the Lord is never in vain. As we conclude this exploration of Paul's encounter with Alexander the Coppersmith, let's carry with us the lessons of resilience, faith, and unwavering commitment to our beliefs. May we, like Paul, find the strength to stand firm in our convictions, respond to hostility with love, and trust in God's ultimate plan, even in the face of dangerous opposition.